Church, are you ready to praise God this morning? Stay right there for 2 seconds. Take this moment here and give God a shout of praise. Break chains this morning. Loose heavy burdens this morning. Break shackles this morning. Tear down every idol, every wall. In Jesus' name. Let's go! Turn up a little bit. We give you glory. Put them hands on it one time. You ready? Here we go. Say when we cry, we righteous cry out. If you're watching it in your home, lift your voice. Shout out to the King. The King of Kings. He hears you. He will. Come to your rescue. Lift your voice and give him praise. Let him know that you need him. He will deliver. The righteous cry out. Yes, they will. And he will attend to your every need. He's got your baby. He's got your heart. Your righteous cry out. Let's go, Lawrence, go. We give you glory. One more time, say the righteous cry out. He will deliver. The righteous cry out. He will deliver. The righteous cry out. He will deliver. The righteous cry out. 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 So take this minute and give God a shout of praise. We love you, Jesus. I love it. I feel the fire. Ain't no excuse to still be in the same position. It's too much God in this room. Say, the righteous cry out. So give God a shout of praise one time in this room. Right here, give God a shout of praise. We love you, Jesus. We give you all of the glory, God. Yeah.
Yo, what's up? Thank you guys for tuning into the Freedom Church live stream. We're so glad to have you guys here because we're about to have one of the realest conversations in the world on singleness. So you should probably tag somebody. You should probably share this all on your social media. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for joining us. If you're watching on Facebook, thank you for joining us. If you're watching wherever you watch it from, thank you for joining us. And if you like, man, I've been waiting on some real conversations about singleness, then you tuned in to the right platform. So I'm joined with some lovely guests. My name is Joshua Dillard. I'm one of the members here at Freedom Church International. Please make sure you guys go follow us, hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Just type it in. Don't act slow now. Just type it in your feed. You know, go to the search thing. Find the page and then like us and all of that good stuff. So, again, my name is Josh Dillard. I'm joined by some of my amazing co-hosts. We got the Terry Callaway with us. Ooh, ooh. And the crowd goes wild. We got the Jayla Day rocking with us today. Yeah. Aisha Lusk. What's up, Aisha?
What's going on, Josh?
No. Why you looking like that? Why you look at me like that? We got the Tiffany Brockers. What's up? Terrence Constantine. What's up, my brother? And last but definitely not least, you know, because the first shall be last and the last.
Stop it.
That was for you, bro. Might be. Trey Cosmos. Give it up for Trey Cosmos, people. So, yeah, we're here today and we just want to have a conversation on singleness. I like to call this a real conversation on singleness. Probably the realest conversation on singleness. But before we go into that, how about this? How about you guys just take about 30 seconds, introduce yourself, let the people know who you are, you know, where you from. You may want to throw your hood up. I'm not sure. You know, who knows? Yes, she's looking real amazing, but you know, I know her for real in real life. I'm messing with you. But yeah, just give us a tidbit on yourself and then we'll go ahead and get the conversation started.
Sure, I'm Terry Callaway and I'm a founding member here at Freedom Church and I am from Rosewood.
I told you. I told you.
And I am divorced, and I have 2 adult daughters.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, my name is Aisha Lusk. I not from Houston, been here 10 years, 40 years old. And I consider myself almost like the last of a breed in my generation because I'm still a virgin, so.
Stop playing.
Yeah.
Yo, it's hot takes already. We gonna come back.
Bro.
I'm gonna mention note that 10 years? You've been in Houston for 10 years.
I've been in Houston for 10 years.
So you're not originally from Houston?
No, from Fort Worth, Texas.
Fort Worth. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. You don't look 40.
I know.
By the way.
I know. 28.
God, still a virgin.
Yes. So.
Anyways,
it's gonna be good.
Let's go to the next. What's up, Tiffany?
I'm Tiffany Brockers. I'm a divorced mom. I have 5 kids, and they're all adults. And what else? DM's open. Taking applications. And the screening process is kind of hard, starting with income. But anyway, yeah, that's me. That's me. That's me.
My name is Terrence Constantine, and I am 34 years old. I've been a member at Freedom Church for about 4 years now, and I am single.
What does single mean? Because you said it twice.
Single.
You said it twice.
Single.
So we're going to get back to that. We're going to get back to that because I have questions for everybody.
Gotcha.
What's up, Jayla?
Hello there. I'm the Jayla Day. I'm 24 years old. Bad red bone from Touchstone, you feel me? No, I'm just kidding. I am from this area, though. I'm the daughter of Pastor Johnny Gentry and Janice Gentry here at Freedom Church, not Free Indeed, Freedom Church. And I'm single.
Okay.
Single.
That means something. That sway means something. We're going to get to
single
it.
and dating, open to dating. So, yeah.
Which one is it? Is it dating or open to dating? Because that's different. You don't have an answer.
Mind your business.
What's up, Trey?
Yeah, my name is Trey Cosmos. I'm 31, and yeah, I'm single, and I don't have any kids that I know of.
Oh, okay. So you may have some out there that you don't know of. Okay.
Hey, to the kids.
You know what that means?
Don't know of.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it.
So we got 40-year-old virgin. You know what I'm saying? We got her DMs are currently open, but you're going through an application process. He's suave. He's just cool, calm, and collected, ready to go. Baddie, and he's single. Are you open to dating?
Yeah.
He's open and available for
Did
anybody.
that look convincing to you guys? Though?
No, I'm open. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm single.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Are you single, or you just?
I'm single.
Okay.
Hey, now.
We got to get to what that means. So I'm excited to have this conversation with you guys. I think this is a much needed conversation. And one of the things that I think is going to be really dope about this is just our openness and our honesty around singleness, church, faith, all of that stuff. And so I want to ask you a question that all single people hate to get asked. All single people hate this question. Why are you single? Why are you single? Okay. Now, here's what I'm thinking, though. I'm thinking I want to go introspective. I want to tell you a little bit about me and why I think you said great a little too hard, but it's cool. It's cool. I'm going to give a little bit about me because I want to be honest with the people who are tuning in and go introspective on why I think I'm single. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of times in singleness, it's easy to point the fingers. It's easy to blame other people for your single status. But a lot of times we got stuff internally that we need to work on, and we overlook that. You know, we overlook that. And so I'll go first. Why am I single? Whew, so many reasons. Jesus Christ, where do I start? No, but honestly, though, I think in one of my most vulnerable seasons, I was really struggling with my faith in God. you know. And I think in that season, emotionally, I wasn't ready for what was happening that season. Like I lost a dad, lost another dad, you know what I'm saying, was having complications because I used to be married. I'm divorced too, you know what I'm saying, twice. Never thought I'd be divorced twice, Terry, but I'm divorced twice, you know what I'm saying. That's just wild. When I say it, it's so wild to me because we have this idea of how life is gonna go, and then life hits you in the jaw. It's like Mike Tyson. Everybody got a plan for the fight until they get in the ring, they get hit in the face. You know what I'm saying? And so I got married young because I always desired to be married. Ever since I was young, I always desired to be married. So got married young. And I think my faith has always kind of stewarded. It influenced my decision making. So at that time, I wanted to please God. Can I be real? I wanted to have some sex, y'all. I wanted to get down, get busy, but I wanted to please God too. You know what I'm saying? So you know what they teach us. Do y'all know? It's better to marry. It's better to marry than to burn. So I got married. So it's better to marry than to burn. Got married the second time. You know, I believe at that time that God told me that she was my wife. And I think now looking back on that, I really didn't understand everything that was happening at that time to me emotionally because men, we're not taught to really engage our emotions. You know what I'm saying? So I had just gotten broken up with, you know, at that time when my ex and I got together. You know, really, it happened really fast.
Give
And
us a time period.
I don't want y'all to shame me in the comments. I don't know if I want y'all to judge me.
I mean, this is a safe place. You know, we're not judging.
You'll look at the comments later, and they probably will be judging. But as of right now, be open.
It was like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I ain't gonna even front.
Oh,
I told you.
you ain't even healed, bro. Like you didn't even.
Yeah. The whoa, like you picked up the mic and you said it in the microphone.
Like we learned, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because during that time, you know, I was losing a lot of friends. And I think at that time, I just needed somebody. You know what I'm saying? And so I responded out of that need. And I feel like that's what happened with us a lot of the times. And thankfully, like being here at Freedom Church, one thing I can say I found is a real community, you know, of people because I went through a difficult season. Like I've never questioned my faith until 2019. You know what I'm saying? And I think, you know, because I wasn't expecting that, you know, I was wrestling with walking away from God or serving God. And it's not play like, oh man, I think I don't want to serve God anymore because he ain't give me $1 million. Not that. Like really like, no, God, you're either real or you're not. And I'm gonna walk away from you. I'm gonna serve you. I don't play in the middle. So that happened. And I think because I can be an impulsive person, because I hadn't healed from a lot of previous situations, you know what I'm saying? Because I jumped into a situation too fast. It was just about it's probably sad to say, but it was kind of easy to let it go because I'm so used to jumping in. I was so used to jumping in and out of situations. You know what I'm saying? So I think all of that is why I'm single right now, like why I'm not married. Now we're gonna get to the question on why do I want to be married and do you want to be married and how do you feel about your single status right now? But that pretty much kind of sums it up why I'm single, y'all. So look, don't have me telling all my business. You be like, man, I'm just waiting on God. Lord, I'm just waiting on you because I'm not having it. I'm not having it. Okay? All right, so what about you guys? Who wants to go first? Why are you single?
I'll hop out there. I'm single because somebody peed in the dating pool.
Absolutely. It is contaminated.
It's nasty out there. It's nasty out there. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'd say for me, keyword is self-sabotage. I've sabotaged a lot. I have a fear of success sometimes, even in relationships. And so I know we're talking about singleness, but you know, it's about more than that, at least for me. And so, yeah, when I see a good thing happening, I think myself out of it. If we're being introspective.
No, yeah,
you know
absolutely.
I mean?
That's really good because I think we all do. I think we all have self-sabotaging habits.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's based on trauma, and it's easy to point the finger. because it's hard to look in the mirror and be like, nah, you messed that up. You really messed that up. What about you wasn't ready? Who else
I'll
want to go?
go, I guess, since we just throwing ourselves out there. I'm single because I am very non-committal. And I think me being non-committal is definitely a defense mechanism against possibly getting hurt, because I have been in relationships where, I was like willing to go the distance, but in the end it didn't work out for me. And so I think I'm very non-committal, use that as a defense mechanism to not get hurt. And then the thing is, in using that as a defense mechanism, I also settle a lot because I don't push commitment on people, or the people that I'm with. Like, I settle with, situationships and things of that sort. And then I get my feelings invested without boundaries and expectations. And then, ta-da, I'm heartbroken. And then I'm traumatized all over again, And so I realized that pattern actually very recently. And so, I've been working on myself, and I think that all of that has put me in a transition phase of my life of doing a lot better. So, that's
I
why
love it.
I'm
I love that's
single.
real. Self-sabotage, non-committal. Terrence, were you about to?
Yeah, I backdoor. So like in that transitional state, I guess that would be me. So I have a hero syndrome. Oh yeah. 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 Oh yeah. Yeah. And the more broken, the better. Yeah. Yeah. The more broken, the better. And so going through, and when it was a season where I had to kind of be single by myself so that I can start dealing with the fact that I have a hero syndrome. And so I want the more broken, the better, because if I feel like I can fix her, then I feel like I'm validated. I was validated in my position. So I had to go in and really take some time and be by myself to really deal with that hero syndrome.
So let me ask you, how did you identify that you had the hero syndrome?
When I kept locking up with broken women. Like, yeah, I'm talking about like, if she had the daddy issues, oh yeah, bring her over here. Oh yeah, yeah, that's my type. If she had, abandonment, rejection, oh yeah, I want to come in, I want to fix that, I want to help heal you, I want to help heal you. But in essence, if you're single and you aren't pursuing your own wholeness, then you only get with people and damage them. So in reflection, I start to see like, hey, yeah, you need to be by yourself and deal with the fact that you got a hero syndrome, man.
That's what I was about to say, because I was gonna ask you, do you feel like you choose broken women out of a brokenness within yourself?
Most definitely. Most definitely. You can. It's my brokenness is okay because you way more broken than I am.
Man,
That's
Yeah.
tough.
that'll preach.
That's tough.
Can we just acknowledge the fact that he was shaking in his boots and sweating blood because he had to be in front of a camera to say something? And then he come up here spitting facts like that?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just, I can probably say I was shaking in my boots. I was nervous, but now we here. So let's deal with it.
I think that goes back to that saying that I'm sure we've all heard: hurt people hurt people. And it makes sense. Like if you're broken, I want to kind of almost ignore my brokenness
Most
and
definitely.
get with somebody more broken.
Yes.
Because I'm not as broken as you.
Yes.
And I could help you.
Yeah,
You
and
know what I'm
I
saying?
don't have to focus on my brokenness
Right.
because I'm focusing on yours.
Right.
So, but from a life perspective, I never really prosper, or I never really was able to move forward in life because I was always fixing instead of fixing myself first.
Yeah. Man, that's good. That's good. What about you guys? Who want to go next?
I'll go next. I'm single because I'm still healing. I just got out of a toxic relationship that I tried to keep kind of hidden, but it, came
Not a
forth,
sneaky
and and so I shared this with the solo ministry that I dare not try to get with somebody else and mess that person up. I need to heal. I'm honest enough to say that I'm not ready right now for a relationship because I want God to heal me. So I'm single right now by choice. Yeah, for the healing to take place.
Okay, what about that relationship was toxic?
It was always take. Nothing was reciprocated, and it was based on a lie. Yeah, wow. There was no truth. I thought it was truth, so I embraced it and I poured my heart out. I bore my soul, but it was all a lie. Wow. And yeah, that thing hurt deep.
Yeah.
Oh, it did. It hurt. And so I have to learn how to trust again. And in that time, I used that time to really get close to God. That's great opportunity for me to just really fall in love with God all over again.
That's typically how it happens.
I cherish my peace too.
I know that's right.
And I have so much peace.
Well, that's amazing.
Oh yeah.
I released some content recently where it's like, y'all, I don't know why we do this, but we go make bad decisions in regards to relationships. And then we get slapped around. And then we in the tub crying. Talking about, Lord, I don't know how I got here. That's cool because I think it's important, the things that you learn from that so that you possibly don't make those same mistakes again. Because if you're going into situation after situation, making the same mistakes, that's insanity. But you expecting a different result. So that's really good. What about you, Aisha? I feel like you was ready to, so I just dipped to you.
You're wrong. Yeah, I was waiting on you. Well, I'm single for many reasons. One, I've never really been in a relationship with a man. So as far as dating, I'm open to dating. I'm open to date, but I can't get to that part yet. Just trying to get through the introduction stage, it flops. So it always flops on me at the introduction stage because I get not only asked, well, why are you single, but like obvious questions like, when was the last time you was in a relationship? I'm open, so I'm like, well, I've never been in a relationship with a man, and then it goes from there. With me being so open, it just flops. I used to get mad. I didn't understand, but now it's like I'm cool with it because I am open to dating. So I just like thank you for weeding them out because I kind of don't know, and I'm not that big on risk taking because I get mad and. So it's just, that's pretty much why.
So when you say you've never been in a relationship with a man, what do you mean?
I ain't been in nothing with a man.
But like, what do you mean?
A bed, nothing.
So, you ain't been in nothing with a man.
I mean, I hugged a guy. Now, I did hug a guy, and I kissed a guy, but that was it. And I only went on one date. But it was to the point, I think God lined that up for me to experience the feel of a man. It didn't give me that burning desire to where I just like, I need a man, I want a man, and have, me hot down there and stuff like that. It just gave me the experience. Can I say that?
Go ahead.
Look, my hands started sweating.
every minute of it.
But it was an experience, but also I've experienced guys telling me that because my age, and with me not having kids, stuff like that, that it's like a turn off, a shut off, because I've not experienced, I'm not seasoned, but I'm like, okay, I was gay, so if I was the dude that I thought I was supposed to be, and I met a straight girl who was a virgin, like I would snatch her up, but it ain't like that.
Okay. Especially in that age demographic.
I guess it's just the age,
Yeah.
Now, I know some people that are younger generations that are virgins, and my generation still being a virgin,
it's like what's
a
wrong
red.
with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nothing wrong with me. I just, I've never had that desire to be with a man, but I am open to that desire. I do want to get married, but it's whenever God brings him. I'm not compromising, I'm not bending. You don't have to lay with me to get to know me.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Hey, it is what it is. What you said? You saw how she looked at the camera when she finished saying that? Maybe we can zoom in on that. Tiffany, what's up? Why are you single?
I am single because I've gone through pretty much everything on this stage, except Sister, that's all right. I respect it though. But I was non-committal. I was married for a long time. I was in a long-term relationship, another long-term relationship. And it's just like, I don't know, I just got to a point where I was like, listen, I even got a dating coach, right? Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, and I learned a lot about what I be doing, and just, when just a lot of trauma that hadn't healed, and I had to really look at myself, take an introspective look, because I could be dating. I'm single, like the hell I'm single by choice. I am choosing to be single because I could be with any Joe Blow on the street. But my selection process now based on the criteria. I have criteria and I have boundaries. I had to learn about boundaries. I had to learn about criteria. Because when you date somebody, another thing, God told me to date up. Date on your level. Hey. Why are you afraid to date people on your level? What does that say about you? What are you saying about yourself when the people you date, you got to help them fill out a job application. You got to help them get a car. You got, baby, I'm a whole come up. Right. So you're valuable. Why are you, down there? You need to be up here. And so when he told me that, I was like, okay. So the criteria gets stricter and stricter, and I'm okay with that, And God also told me, you know what you want is so special. What you want is so rare that everybody not gonna fit, and that's okay. So if you swiping left 50 times, you're like, oh, don't nobody fit, It's okay, because what you're looking for is not widely known. Everybody don't have those qualities, and my boundaries are in place and they stick,
So you have boundaries, and that's why you believe you're single?
I have that's not because I could like not follow them. It's like, okay, my boundary is you must be gainfully employed. But
I thought you were about to say you must be a gang member.
No, we don't like those. No criminal records. You gotta, it's a lot of stuff you gotta go through, a lot of red tape, talking to people But no, just my boundaries are in place and they in place. So I would say, okay, my boundary is you can't have a lot of kids, or you can't want kids or something like that. And then I meet somebody and I'm like, oh, he cute. he got a lot of kids though, but he cute, So my boundaries are in place and I'm okay with that. Yeah. And then just have a resume of what I want. We always talk about, especially at my age, I'm 49, and we always talk about what we don't want. And when I talk to my friends, they always say, I don't want nobody who don't know how to do this, who don't do this. I don't want, but what do you want though? And so what I want, is bigger than what I don't want. You know what I'm saying? So it's specific, and I'm okay with where I'm.
Okay, I want to ask a question to the ladies on the panel. So Tiffany mentioned a list. So let's say you have a list. Do you guys have a list too? You have a list? You have a list?
Mine is like a scribble thing that's colored in.
You have a list? No list?
I actually recently got rid of mine.
You recently got rid of your list? Oh, okay. So here's my question. I read a book and they surveyed 1,000 women, 1,000 men, and the results were the book to see what settling was to men versus women. So they surveyed 1,000 women, said if you got 80%, Terry, of what you wanted in a man, but he didn't have the 20%, would you consider that settling? And majority of the women said yes, they would consider that settling. I know. Pan
really?
in on his face.
I mean, like, really? 80-20, I mean, that's way over half, yo. Like, yeah, that's like way over half.
What's the 20?
Is it number one? If it's number one on the list, then it can't be,
I mean, the brother can't get no grace. Like, 20%?
Trust me, we give you guys
it's a real
lot
thing
of grace.
because the first response that those women gave, I'm sure, was, well, what does the 20 include? Does it include the financial security part? Does it include the, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of women will say, yes, 20% is settling.
But why not look at it from the perspective of what is the 80 that he's bringing to the table instead of, you know what I'm saying?
And I
like,
agree with that 100%. But honestly, and this is something that I probably will get slaughtered for after people hear me say this, but I do think that women's expectations of their list and, you know, the 80% and the 20%, all that good stuff, I do think that sometimes the list is unrealistic. Especially when it comes to, all right, move on.
Nah, don't say that. Don't say that.
Well, I was gonna say, especially when it comes to Christian women, I think that we do a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Reading out or what? No, I think that a lot of Christian women almost have like this imagination of what
They want Jesus.
they want Jesus. Christian women want their husband to be Jesus. And let me just tell you, that man is not walking on this earth no more. You know what I'm saying? And so I think because of that, we miss out on that dude that has the 80% because we think we're settling. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, the majority of the men, of course, was like, "Oh, we good. We get 80. Man, she got 80%. I promise you. Like, okay. If you get 80%, Trey,
80. Let's be real. I ain't really seen 80. Where 80 at?
That makes sense. That's for real. That's for real.
I'm just saying. I mean, 60 is nice. Like, I'll take 60. You know what I'm saying? I'll take 60.
I'll take 62, bro. I ain't gonna even lie. But if I can get 80, I'm winning. You know what I'm saying? Like 80
Oh,
is,
yeah.
80,
Yeah.
I'm winning.
Yeah, for sure. Buying the ring today. Yeah.
The percentage of men who will take less of what they're looking for versus the percentage of women who will take less of what they're looking for is a lot higher. And it is very it's very likely that a man will find a woman who works at McDonald's and, you know, she cool, she, you know, can cook, she has a great personality, and he'll take her and build her up and wife her. I'm talking, she is green for the rest of her life. But if a woman finds a man who works at McDonald's, and you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I blame women. You know, I'm just stating the facts. If a woman finds a man who works at McDonald's and he has that other 80%, he just ain't got that big 20, she's gonna look the other way and possibly spit on that man.
It could also be a generational thing though too, because I think in millennials and younger, building together is not a thing.
Yeah.
You know, we don't do that. Like my parents, they started with nothing together. You know what I'm saying? And they built something.
Shout
and
out to my parents.
Yeah,
they
like,
did the same thing, bro.
You don't see that no more though. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What's wrong with you?
I canceled my construction license. I don't do that.
you're not building the man anymore.
No. Building the building got to be in
So
place.
my next question is, in regards to singleness, okay, are you, be real too, are you genuinely happy and content in your singleness right now? Are you genuinely happy? Genuinely.
Yeah, but you know what? The blanket answer is I'm content, but I mean, I really am because I have so many things that fill up my life. You know, I travel. I have friends that don't go to church with me. You know, I have a full life. And that's really the only way you can really enjoy your single life is to have a full life.
That's good.
If you're sitting at home, you know, waiting on the UPS man to date you, it's not gonna happen. Amazon man, either they young, you know, and they got good jobs though. But I'm just saying that if you're sitting at home, you don't go out, you don't hang out, you don't travel, you don't put yourself, social life, that's what fills your time up. And then, you know, your activities at church, you know, fill your life up. Be full. I've seen so many singles. Oh, I mean, this single stuff sucks. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, drama free, because you meet somebody and then you remember why you love being single because the unhealed trauma, you know, you have one conversation. What you mean by that? Nothing. Talk to you later. Nothing. You know, just a lot of unhealed trauma out there. People don't want to go to therapy. Mostly men. But anyway,
Oh,
not
whoa.
blaming.
No, that's true,
Just
though.
saying. And,
It's kind of true for the most part.
Statistically.
you know. And just, it's a lot. And then when you're healed and you meet somebody that's not healed, the old me used to be like, oh, you need help. You need to heal. Let me help you heal, you know, and be his therapist and everything and pick him up. So it's generational. If I met a guy that worked at McDonald's, he was a manager or the owner, and he building himself, that's a whole different ball game than for a man to see a woman at McDonald's. Women are builders. We gonna make something out of nothing. Right. So you see her at McDonald's, she probably working and going to school. That's probably her second job, you know, for the most part. Or she got dreams and aspirations. She got a whole dream list, or what's the things called when you make the big poster board? Vision board, or everything she trying to be. You know what I'm saying? But the guy at McDonald's, he could be settling. You know, this what I got. I'm just saying. He could be though. He could be.
I think it depends on what stage of your life you in. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's what I say.
If
It's
you
generational.
19 and 20 and you working at McDonald's, then that's acceptable. But at a certain point in your life, you should have put some goals in place, or you probably need to be single. You know what I mean? If you haven't had any goals in place to set yourself up to be productive, because you talk about not being single, being married, taking on the responsibility as a wife, can you afford her? Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, can you afford her? Like, are you really set in a position to, or have you really positioned yourself to be, you know, a husband? No, not on a McDonald's salary. I mean, you need to go back to the drawing board, bro, and prepare yourself better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts. And you know what? Yeah, you know what? I want to say something to that though, because I'll keep it real with you. Maybe it's just, you know, my scenes. I seem to see two different type of women. The kind that they got so much together they're not willing to be a wife, or, and maybe it's just me, or they want to be a wife so that you can save them. I don't see too much in between. So I'm just keeping it real. You know, I'm not hating on what you said, but I'm just saying.
No, I mean, I've seen or heard that, you know. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for in a wife. Now, if you're talking about a successful woman that go to work every day, a professional woman, she ain't got time to be cooking and going to work every day.
Oh, I know how to cook,
and
though.
cleaning. You know,
I know how to cook though. I'm good.
Mind you, we take. Here we go. Hold on. We take all the responsibility at the home, and we work. And y'all take y'all dirty clothes off and leave them in the floor. That's all I'm saying. And you leave the toilet seat
Listen, I take care of my own home. What you talking about? Ain't nobody picking up after me. Ain't nobody cooking for me.
Right. I think there's this narrative that's out there that men are intimidated by successful women, but men who know themselves, who are working in their purpose, they're not intimidated by successful women. They just don't want you. And the reason why I say that, because, like, think about the qualities who you as a woman need to become to even attain that level of success in your life. You got to obtain like a level of masculinity. You know what I'm saying? To even operate in them corporate spaces, to be in those boardrooms that are filled with men and stuff like that. That's a masculine is a trigger word.
That's my trigger word. That right there is my trigger word.
But I'm just saying sometimes, because I think a lot of single women say, "Oh, he just can't handle me," or what if it's that he just don't want you? You know what I'm saying? Because he's just trying to find a balance of, can this woman can she be a wife? And guys are kind of looking for that. They're trying to source that. And so if all they see you do is lead and this and do that, and that's cool because you had to do that because you're single. But if that's the only role they see you in, then they don't see you in these other roles that they feel will complement who they are as a man.
So if I'm occupying the role of the man and you occupying the role, then what we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I need you to be able to fill in the gaps, not tout what I'm doing. Right. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about like, oh, okay, like, there's nothing wrong. If she's a successful corporate woman, great, awesome. But I still need you to be able to be a mother. I still need you to be able to be a wife. I still need you to fill those roles that you really kind of intended for.
The reason I'm not going to say I'm content, I'm not going to say that I'm unhappy. For me, with me personally, it's like I'm curious. I'm curious to know what it's like going out on a date, having a male friend. I'm not a builder man, but I would like to try to build a friendship with opposite sex. I could build a relationship quicker with a female, and it's no same sex or anything. But when it comes to me, say I am attracted to a guy, and I am open with him. Like, my name Aisha, this and that,
That's real open, girl. Tell him your name.
Yes. Like, my name is Aisha, not Leecha. Aisha, not Leecha, because they always call me Leecha. So, I'm curious to know what it's like for a guy to be interested in me. So I'm not content. I'm not mad. I'm here, willing to go through some things. Y'all did the red flag thing. That was funny. But some of that stuff was real.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you upset? So you're not content.
I'm not content. I'm not mad. I'm more curious.
Are you frustrated? Or you?
It can be frustrating because guys, I don't, and I'm pretty sure guys be like, I don't understand women, and women say, I don't understand men, and I'm sitting here like, I used to be a woman that wanted to be a man. I don't understand either one of y'all.
Right.
For real.
Right.
For real. So it's like, I'm like. And I'm almost like, you know what? I done seen what I wanted to see. I don't have nothing. But I know that's not what God has for me. Because when I first, met Jesus, when I gave him my life, I was like, you know what? I'm a eunuch. I ain't supposed to be with no one. And my mom was like, no, daughter, you're not. But as I lived my life and I seen that he was putting desires in me, then I was like, oh, dang, I ain't going to be no eunuch. So now I'm just,
So when you find yourselves in those frustrating moments, do you put some of that frustration on God? Like, God, my disciplines, who I am as a person, this is the reason why I'm single. Kind of, do you
That's
blame
a good
God
question. No,
in
I
any
don't
way?
blame him. I don't blame God at all. I blame the humans. I think because the guys I come across, I'm like, what's wrong with you? Because they say I'm a man of God. So I'm like, okay, so that keeps me to continue corresponding with them. Now, I ain't gonna say like, oh, I believe it all the time, but test spirit by the spirit. I'm not trying to be holier than thou, But it's just like, okay, but will you pray for me? Will you pray with me? And I've had a man say no. And Aunt Terry, you told me 6 figures, 6-pack, 6 feet. That's a no-no. And I was like, no, he not. But it came out to be he was a no-no. Because just by me shooting with him, will you pray with me? Will you pray over me? Because you feeling me, I'm feeling you. And he knew where I came from, but just like, will you pray for me? Will you pray on me? Like, no.
Yeah. That's kind of a wild answer, but that allows
But
you
he was being honest,
Yeah, and it allows you to filter through who you need to
That's
entertain
why I
and who you
can't
don't
get
need to
mad
entertain.
because it's like I'm going through like this filtering thing, in and out. So no, I'm not mad. I get frustrated. Yeah, I get mad at the guys. I get mad when I don't know what female to go to. That's why I be like, where my sisters in and stuff like that, because I don't be knowing. And so now I'm just putting it out there. So everybody, I'll be coming to y'all girls.
So what about you guys? Anybody else want to answer that question? You don't have to go in order or anything like that. Are you genuinely happy and content being single?
I don't like that question. But I'll tell you why. So I just think, especially in church culture, we're taught, part of your purpose is to get married. Get married. One day you're going to get married. You spend your life preparing to be a husband. And then they tell you, but you better be content being single. You better not have sex. You better not do all of that stuff. And it's kind of conflicting, you know what I mean? Because I think kind of like what Aisha said, it's not discontentment. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not unhappy being single, but I feel like I've spent my whole life chasing what y'all taught me to do. At the same time, trying to maintain myself as a single man because y'all told me I need to be happy about it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's conflicting. That's why I don't like the question, because it's like, why y'all trying to make me be content? but you're also trying to, you know what I'm saying? You're also trying to make me get married. Like, so I think I'm kind of in a situation now where I'm figuring out, you know, single or not, like, what am I supposed to do on this earth? What legacy am I supposed to, you know, leave on? And how do I make that happen? And who can I do that with?
Yeah.
You know, and not even just a wife, because we may spend a lot of time trying to be a good husband, but we trash at being a friend. You know what I'm saying? So I've spent the last 2 years just trying to be a better friend. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You do good.
I'm all right. I'm still trash, but you know, I'm working on it.
Yeah. But that'll definitely help you. Those qualities that you building right now in the singleness, that's going to translate over when you do get married. So do you guys feel like the church kind of pushes marriage on you?
Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you see marriage as the, you know, the goal. The goal, the grand goal. And it's like, like, I mean, I was like you, Josh. I was from relationship to relationship. I wasn't finna put no time in between them because I couldn't be by myself. I couldn't stand being by myself. It was like, you know, what I'm gonna do, who I'm, you know, like I ain't got nobody to talk to, where we finna go, you know, like, and so there was a season when the Lord called me into 2 years of singleness. And it was like in that time, I learned how to focus on building a business, growing in my career, developing ministry. I learned how to take that time to really invest in me and realizing that maybe part of the reason why I wasn't married at the time is because I wasn't whole. You know what I'm saying? Like I had spent so much time focusing on everything else other than building the best version of myself. Maybe that's why God didn't let me get married then. You know, he wanted that time for me to really focus on building a better me. So in that period of being single for those 2 years, I began to identify like, it's okay. Yeah, it's good. It's all right. Like you get your friend group, you know, you focus on your business, you focus on, you know, ministry, you focus on, I mean, and like Tiff say, go out. I mean, go to, you know what I'm saying? Catch brunch somewhere or something like that. Hey, yo, we finna fade, you know, wherever, you know. I think it's really, really important to, I believe people who aren't content with their singleness, their life is probably full of a lot of idle time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually want to do two things. I want to go back and answer the first question that you asked about, am I genuinely happy? I can say, surprisingly, this is the first time that I've been single and I've been genuinely happy. And I don't think that it has anything to do with me, you know, not focusing. Well, I don't think it has anything to do with me in relationships. I think it really just has to do with the fact that I've been focusing on other things. So I can say that I am the happiest that I've been in a really long time. But I'm lonely, you know? And I feel like that's fair. I was having a conversation with one of my friends and I was telling her, I was like, girl, I ain't dating nobody, blah, blah, blah. This is a couple, like maybe 2 months ago. I was like, I ain't dating nobody, you know, this and that. She was like, dang, friend, I'm sorry you're depressed. I was like, whoa, back up, because I'm not depressed. I don't know how we got there. I'm happy. I'm the happiest I've been. I'm just lonely, and that's okay. So if you're single and you don't know necessarily how to title your feelings or title how you feel about you being single, it's okay. Like if you're in that mixed stage of being happy with your life, but being lonely, like that's fine to identify. Anyways, to the second question, do I believe that the church pushes marriage on people? I say yes, and the reason why I say that, the reason that I say that is because I feel like that's the whole reason that the singles ministry was made, which is why it has such a negative connotation.
No offense.
You know, like single people don't necessarily like singles ministry. I mean, at least at Freedom Church is a little different. At Freedom Church is a little different. But in totality, like in whole, like when they asked me to do this panel, I was like, oh my God, am I at that age where I am a spokesperson for the single people? Like, this is not good. Like, something gotta shake quick, you know what I'm saying?
I definitely replied to the text like, who all gonna be there?
Right, like, who all coming?
I definitely
need to
did.
know.
Yeah, because I was like, I
who
don't
all
know
is a
about
part of
this.
this panel?
It's a setup.
But I do think that in totality, the singles ministry has a negative connotation on it because it's almost like a support group for mourning people who have not found their soulmate
You
yet.
damaged goods.
Because you're damaged goods, and so we all get a chance to feel sorry for each other in the same vicinity versus doing it alone because it makes it worse when you're alone. And that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all stop that.
I just want to say this. I'll look at the camera when I say this. I believe that being single doesn't mean something is wrong with you.
Absolutely. Right.
Being unmarried doesn't mean something is wrong with you, because to be honest with you, if I look at the friends that I have, a lot of them are married and something is very wrong with them, but they don't know because they married. You know what I'm saying? So they think they've reached the pinnacle of being a Christian. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing that, man, there's a lot of work that goes into being married. It's double the work now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it doesn't mean something's wrong with you just because you're single.
No, that's good. It made me think about a scripture where I think the disciples were asking Jesus about marriage, and then Jesus responded. He was like, because they were like, man, that's a hard thing right there, Jesus. And he was like, you said it. And I'm like, man, I wonder what the implication of that is. Like, even God knows how hard marriage can be and the opportunity that we have as single people to thrive in our singleness. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of times it's looked at as a negative thing because marriage is there's something wrong with you if you're not married, which becomes the question, why are you single? Right. It implies that you're broken. Why are you broken? Yeah. Because somebody should want you, but they don't.
Nobody wants you.
Right. Why nobody wants you?
Why you can't keep a man? Yeah.
I instantly look at it as a red flag when, and I hope somebody's taking notes. I hope you men out there are taking notes, because this is what you don't do. I've been asked before, maybe twice or 3 times, I mean, you just so beautiful. Why you ain't got a man? You crazy? Well, why you single? You crazy? Something wrong with you? Like, bro, I'm gonna go now because this is not cool.
That is a question though. Like when you meet, if you meet a woman and she's together, she's pretty, she's beautiful, she's smart, intelligent. I mean, as a man, one of the questions that run through our head is, why ain't nobody snatched you up yet? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because they don't trust you because you're pretty.
It's completely understandable to have those feelings, and it's completely understandable to be curious about stuff like that. We are also very curious about why y'all are single as well. You know what I'm saying? But to ask that straight out is it's disrespectful, especially when you're not crazy. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're just a regular person who just ain't got a man right now. But I think that if you have those type of curiosities, it's okay. But who that person is and if they really are crazy or what they really are about will show itself in the first date. We're just gonna be honest. So you don't have to ask why you single? You crazy?
I wouldn't necessarily ask that question in particular, but I would most definitely probe around to try to figure out what's really going on here. You know what I'm saying? Let me, most definitely with some tact. Yeah, with some tact.
I've met a lot of pretty women who they are single because they don't really want to be a wife. They just want a companion. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a difference, Like marriage implies that it's a two-way street. It's a give and take. You got to put something in. It's like, no, I just want a buddy to do X, Y, and Z with, but we're going to leave all the other stuff out.
Yikes, is that me?
They don't really get what marriage means. Yeah. I've seen that, and it's tragic because they're like, I want to get a husband. I want to get a husband. They want him to be the husband, but, reciprocity, And so when they meet you and you're, wife material, they, it's a lot of people don't appreciate that. So that's why you have to be selective, but they still think you crazy if you're single.
Some of y'all are crazy though. Let's just keep it real.
You just have to understand.
They crazy though.
I got told I was crazy because I was desiring a man that would, what someone told me I was waiting on Jesus too. So I'm like, I guess I'll just be waiting. So I got.
Do you think that Christian women have extremely high I know we answered this kinda, but do you guys think that Christian women have high expectations when it comes to men, almost wanting the perfect man, the man?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
We're just looking for somebody. Do you have a relationship with God? And that's important because if he has a relationship with God, then he knows how to treat you, because he fears God. So I don't think we're like looking for too much. Women have been through so much. Some women, they've been through the men who were trying to run through them and trying to run through women and trying to do all of this extra stuff. So they want to make sure that you are who you say you are. So I don't think we are looking for a lot based on the age group. I'm looking at the, ladies up here. When you get older, you just have expectations. And it's not that you're asking, oh, I want somebody perfect. I want Jesus. No, you're not going to meet a perfect guy because you're not perfect. So I think we just want to know, are you for real?
Do you guys feel like women take responsibility for their decision making?
So no accountability. Is we back at that?
I'm asking. I'm curious.
And we back over here, Kevin.
I'm curious. Like,
so,
do you feel like women? Because it's one thing to be like, oh, this guy did me wrong. 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 But you chose that guy, that guy, that guy, and that guy. So at what point? Like, do you take accountability for the fact that you chose this man that you stayed with? Do you feel like women take accountability?
You just have to really take ownership, and you have to know yourself. Yeah. When you know yourself, you can accept anything somebody bring up. Like, you was dating that guy, he worked, he didn't have a job. You're able to accept, okay, that was an area when I was broken. I was still dealing with some trauma. That's real. I chose wrong. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, but you have to know yourself. You do. Yeah. You really have to know yourself to be able to answer like that, and being able to come back to your kids, okay, well, I wasn't married to your dad because, we was kids and, just being able to own that, it's powerful, and it keeps you from being one that's not accountable. Because blaming everybody is not good. I don't care who you are, man or woman. Yeah. Blaming, because you absorb some of that responsibility for the failed relationship. Yeah. Please do. You have to. Because, the relationship has to be a lesson in what you went through. Okay, so I'm not going to do that again. And, okay, I need to heal from that. Oh, that person, everybody not lying on you. That's good stuff. So when they point out that in an argument, okay, and they keep saying it, and then you keep hearing it from every relationship, right. Okay, that's the issue.
Right. Yeah, no, that's good because honestly, from a male point of view, we don't hear that often. Yeah. We don't hear that often. We hear what the man did. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And so you don't hear women being like, yeah, I was broken at that point in time. And that was a reflection of my decision making too. Also, you know what I'm saying? Because I think it's expected for men to take that responsibility for the failure of a relationship. But sometimes it seems like the women get the scapegoat and get the point blame, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, okay, well, what about your decision making? Right. What does that say about you? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I got a hot take. I got a hot question. Uh-oh. I got a hot question. No. Are y'all having sex? Now, I'm messing with you. You ain't got to answer that. You ain't got to answer that. Do y'all want them that? No, okay. That's not.
1,000 likes.
We get 1,000 likes?
We on the stage right now, of course.
So the question is about sex, though. It's about sex. Do you feel like if you are fornicating, having sex before marriage, that it will prevent God from sending you a mate, a spouse?
Absolutely.
Yes, and why?
Because sex was designed for marriage. We know that. We know that it was designed for in the confines of marriage. And when I got older, I understood why. Because you go out here, you sexing everybody, you having sex with this person, that person.
Everybody.
And by the time God sends you the person that has ordained for you, you end up having competitive sex. Because you done had sex with this person, that person, that person. Oh, he don't do it like this. He don't hold me like that. He don't. We being real, right?
Yeah. That's good.
So you start having competitive sex. If you didn't know what that was, as you shouldn't have, then you wouldn't be able to make a comparison. But because you've done it with this person, that person, now God has to tear the soul tie away from you from every relationship. That's why it may take time for you to meet your God-ordained spouse, because God has to heal you from within. And so there are consequences that come with the person, all the people that you've been with. God has to tear that away from you. It's like a plywood. You put two plywoods together, you try to take it apart, you're gonna have bits and pieces up on that, it's gonna be hard to take it apart. So, yeah.
So what about the couples, right, who have shacked up, lived together, engaged in sex, and they're in a happy marriage right now?
Shout out mom and dad.
Exactly!
Let me say that.
I want. Oh. Look, hey, y'all ain't got no mics. Y'all can't talk right now.
Y'all ain't got no
mics.
I was created out of wedlock. I'm here to tell the truth.
Tell the truth and shame the devil now.
No, let me say this. No, they didn't shack. I was
shack.
there.
But they was getting it in.
They were. They
Okay.
probably was. But let me tell you this: what I
They
did.
probably, we got the evidence. It wasn't no problem.
Material.
What I saw them do, because I was there. Not there. Not there.
Like you into some penis.
My mom, oh, forgive me, Lord.
Was living with me. Oh Lord. Okay, no, we ain't gonna say it. But what I did see them do, I saw them constantly repent. They repented. They asked God for forgiveness. God knows that we are in this flesh. He knows that. Right. We're not perfect. We're going to fall. All of us have failed at some point. So, but I saw them repent. And God can redeem the marriage based on your heart of repentance. God can save and salvage the relationship. Now, did they go through some things in between? Yes, they did.
Was that as a result of, and then this is not specifically for them, but was that as a result of fornication, or was that as a result of them being young, not really understanding and having to go through things as individuals? Because the reason why I asked that question is because sometimes, especially with the sex thing, everything bad gonna happen to you because of fornication. You know what I'm saying? Not because of your emotional maturity, not because you make bad decisions, not because it's because you have sex that you cursed.
Yeah. Can I speak on that?
Go ahead.
So the way I've learned to see it, and this may not fit into everybody's theology, but I believe that, getting a marriage license is a cultural thing of today, but really what consummates a marriage is sex. So I think about the first time I had sex, I married that person spiritually and physically, you know what I'm saying? And so now the soul ties, I know some people don't like that word, some people do, but it's really like, we have to rip that apart. Like she said, we have to physically and spiritually divorce that person because we married to them. So imagine what it's like when you've knocked down this one, you knocked down that one, you smashed that one, you did a little bit of half of something with this one. You got all of these marriages and no divorces. You know what I'm saying? So, I also believe that, sex is for marriage, but it's also one of those things that changes and skews your view of a person automatically. And that is perfectly okay if it's my wife and she's annoying, she be smacking when she chewing, but you know what? When we're intimate, I can forgive those things because my vision of her, my perspective of her is different. However, when I was knocking down Sally Sue, my perspective of her was different, and I didn't want to break up with it, even though she was toxic as hell. Oh, my bad. I'm not supposed to say. She was toxic as heck. You know what I'm saying? We had a lot of issues. There's a lot of baggage on both sides, but the sex was good, so I'm going to stay with it. You know what I'm saying? That's what Retrograde is actually about, by the way. I just wanted to plug that.
Go check that out on all streaming platforms.
Right. But yeah, so we get married to these people spiritually, and then now there's a need to spiritually divorce them. And that's why everything goes bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was gonna say really quickly, like, I agree with that, but back to the question, will God not send you a spouse? Now, Terry gave us her answer, because you're sexually active.
So, and I kind of want to give like a different perspective, because I agree with all of this, but that was something that I definitely had to like think about and pray on like throughout my growing up, because in my household, sex was the end all be all. You going straight to the south side of hell if you have sex before marriage. You know what I'm saying?
But I did it.
Right.
And I was like, well, one-way ticket, I guess. But, in learning that, I did have a lot of questions. Like, okay, does fornication mean that I'm not going to get a husband? Does it mean that God is not a God of promises? Because if he's promising me that I'm a wife, if he's promising me that, I'm going to have a husband, does fornicating make me not a wife anymore? And I think that, like, all of what we said was clear, but I think it's clear to understand for people who have been in church before. But like for people who are a little bit more, on the more what's the word I'm looking for? Something that's a little bit more tangible and not as spiritual. Think about it like this. Like he said, if you're having sex with somebody, then you're invested in that person now and you have a tie to that person. And it's not that you are no longer a wife, or it's not that you're no longer a husband, but it's that you wasting time over here.
Right.
So while you wasting time over here,
Can't see that.
you can't see that over there. And so it's important that in those type of situations, you're not wasting time and you're not wasting what you would consider valuable to yourself. And so like you can't give this to somebody just not because of a spiritual reason or whatever the case may be, but simply because you don't want to waste your time. Like everybody in this world gets the concept of time and you don't want to waste that. And you're going to be looking this way, spending your time here, investing here, when it makes more sense to be straightforward and on the narrow, so that way you can have the time to look over here whenever it's time, like whenever it's, your purpose and destined to. So I just think that it's like really important to make sure that you are seeking God, because that's what's going to keep y'all from, veering off. And I know it seems like very like a general statement to say, but it's true, because when you seek God, if you believe in God, then you're seeking yourself. And seeking yourself, you don't have time to invest in anybody else, because that's what you're doing for yourself. And then, it'll come, hopefully.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
I love that. And maybe it's not God not sending your husband. Maybe there's a process that's happening because there's something broken in you where you keep engaging in that manner. And God know if I sent you there, you're gonna mess it up.
Right.
First of all, probably already sent it and you couldn't see it.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're engaging, just like Trey said, it skews your view of that person. That person is not the right person for you, but you done already slept with them, so now you like them more. You look over things that are red flags. You're more lenient because you've made ties with this person instead of waiting and getting to know that person and dating with intention. See, you can't just be willy-nilly with dating. And that's something I learned. Like when you're dating and you're talking about getting married, you need to be looking at someone like, not like, okay, is this somebody I would marry, but do he even have the potential to be? And so if they don't have the potential or fit my husband resume, I don't even have time.
And
I don't
be
even
careful
have
with
time.
potential.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said, if you don't even fit the resume, because so nobody can say, well, I'm the best guy on your no, y'all all the same. Y'all all the same. Y'all all in the same income bracket. Y'all all in the same educational background. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, okay, well, I'm dating this guy. He's, he trying, and then this one, he's success. No, they all successful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's with intention, because these are people that I would potentially marry.
Yeah. So one question, then we're going to go to the last question. With that being the case, what would you tell, and one person can answer this or two, just depends, I don't know. But what would you tell someone who, because I think a lot of times when we describe, sex and fornication, the person is super damaged. They got super stuff going on. They super toxic. But then you have the other side where maybe they're newly in a relationship, like saved, but they've been in a relationship and they have a good relationship, but they have sex and they Christians. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that we're damaged, so to say, or somebody's like, it's not that we're pretty decent. We have a solid relationship, but we have sex and we're Christians. Well, what do you tell what do you tell someone who's in a relationship like that?
That's good. I need this advice.
Somebody else should answer. Not me.
Oh, everybody looking at me, so I
No,
can't say
yeah,
that. I guess that means that's me, right? Like, yeah. Well, I would most definitely think that you probably have to go back and do some evaluation and kind of they came into salvation after the point, right? So we need to lay foundation for salvation, and we need to lay foundation and make sure you understand that okay, this was cool before you knew God. You know what I'm saying? Before you knew God at another place. Now that you coming into another level with Him, another relationship with Him, you got to kind of go back and say like, do I really? Because in essence, sex is worship, right? But if it's outside of covenant, then what are we worshiping? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. No, I mean like on the cool, you know what I'm saying? Like it's worship. So if we outside of covenant, then what are we worshiping? You know, and so now we didn't put our relationship in a demonic state. So we really need to go back and look and say, hey, do we really want to keep doing this like this? Like either we need to work on setting up a plan to abstain, or we need to say, hey, we finna get married. We finna, you know what I'm saying? Like we finna look at the next step, but we can't just keep on doing this. Like you gotta have some kind of conviction somewhere. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think it's good. That's why it's important to have someone who has the similar desires as you, because then you can run this race together. But when you dragging somebody while you trying to run,
You see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel where you was coming from when she was talking about, you know, being in love with God. Like me, I that is my desire. I desire that man to be blindly in love with God because I am. Okay, and for me, if I do get to meet a guy that is blindly in love with God, that would like how secure I feel right now with God is how I feel like I would feel in His arms. Like that would be the gift that God has given me, saying I provide Him to give you that secure feeling because He's so not so focused on God, you know what I'm saying? But He's so in love with God that He already know to handle me like the rose petals like this. You know, He already know. He already know how to love me because He loved Him more than He loved me. And He wants to be pleasing in His eyes. So He's gonna treat me like that. You know, so
Like, and this is just kind of like what one thing I've kind of adapted over the years is, I don't, and I know this is gonna sound real controversy, but I don't talk about a lot of, especially in the premature state of a relationship, we don't do a lot of Jesus talk. We don't do a lot of God talk. You know, not in the beginning stages, because as we date, my life gonna tell you who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like my life gonna tell you who I am. I ain't gotta really like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, Jesus this and quote scriptures and all the rest of this stuff. Like, nah, let's go to brunch or let's go to the park. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, and I want you to know. I don't want you to know the evangelist or the preacher. I want you to know the man. You know what I'm saying? Like, know him, because when you know, when ministry is over with and we at home, I ain't no preacher. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So I want it to be
bust it wide open.
Yeah.
No.
We gotta cut that out. Should we cut that out? I do need you to bust it wide open at the house tomorrow.
Don't look at me in my eyes and say that.
I'm just saying. I wanted some agreement.
Why you looking at me, bro?
I wanted you to agree with me.
I agree, but don't look at me when you say that.
Real suspect, Josh.
Stop it. Look. I'm agreeing. I'm like, look. I want you to know the man.
Yeah.
I want you to bust it wide open.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. And so I think that's really, really important. I mean, I think it's important to know that foundation, because my life is gonna show you.
Right.
My life gonna show you who I am.
And also, I think it's very important for women to not prematurely talk about your relationship with God, because one, I almost look at my relationship with God like my kids.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't have any kids, but you know, when you dating, you don't automatically introduce whoever you have went on the first date with to your kids, because that's something that's sacred to you and that's fragile. And you do something to hurt them, oh, that's an issue. And so for me, I feel like some men have the ability to be a chameleon. and you start talking about God, and then they right on that wave. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's sensitive. That's sensitive to me. And for you to disrespect me by pretending like you really about that life and you not, you hurting me. And then I'm gonna get physical too. You know
And you
what
got
I'm saying?
some women that's just, once they realize that you saved, they want you just because of that. That's it. Like, oh yeah, he saved, he love the Lord, then oh yeah, that's that he the one.
Yo, can I tell us? Can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
Nah, this is real. Let me clarify the bust it wide open. When you married, I need you to bust it wide open. Okay, let me clarify that. Now I remember this was early on in my walk with Jesus. How vulgar? I don't want to get too vulgar, but I was in a situation. You know what I'm saying? And I was pretty zealous. I was pretty on fire about Jesus, but you know I was still struggling in that area too, Aisha. You know what I'm saying? And so of course we were in our room. We were in my room actually, and things got a little hot and steamy. And she was like, I want it because I can't have it. I want it because it's like forbidden fruit. And I was like, you about to get it, but I didn't give it to her. I didn't give it to her, but that's like a real thing though. That's a real thing, like not being able to access something that you really want. Just the fact that you can't get it almost makes you want it more. Yes, I feel that.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Like you know, and so I feel like we'll get to that. You know what I'm saying? Eventually we'll get to that, but not right now. Not in the beginning stages.
That's good.
I do want to say this though. I think we can't let, because that's a pretty low bar just to say they gotta be saved. You know, there's way more to it than that. Because I definitely dated a young lady that was saved, but when we had certain conversations, like, that's not in the Bible. And so I had to realize, like, you know, being unevenly yoked isn't just, oh, we both saved, so we good. But, you know, our maturity level spiritually was totally different. And you know what I'm saying, like, just, I just wasn't into, like, hey, let me help you grow spiritually. Because I'm not trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a low bar to say, now they got to be saved. We got to raise the bar a little bit. We got to know a little bit more about them. So I do agree with y'all, though, about, like, you know.
Let me just clarify. You're right. You are absolutely correct. I mean, that's not just they have to be saved or whatever. I said that because, you know, some things that I kind of dealt with in the past, you know, person reading the Bible, whatever, and portrayed to be, you know, this certain way, but they were a chameleon. Right. So yeah, you're right. It takes more than that. Now, I just don't have enough time to go into that, but yeah, it's not just about that, you know.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Man, this
I don't
conversation.
like church boys.
You don't like church boys. You want to do what? Thug?
Not thug, but thug-like.
Thug-like. Reformed.
Thug tendencies.
Okay, thug tendencies.
You know.
Okay.
Thug tendencies.
funny.
Church. I grew up in church all my life, and the church boys be chameleons sometimes. You know, they use the word to get the women, and they don't want church girls for marriage. They want them to sleep with everybody. Okay, I can only go by what I saw, because I don't date church boys. But you know, just somebody with a little dirt on them. Yeah, love Jesus and everything, just have a little dirt. You know, that way you understand and you won't be judging me and throwing the Bible at me if you hear me cuss or you hear me fall or, you know, whatever. You know, I need you to be down to earth. I need you to be real. You know, I need you to have a little dirt on you. You know, so that I can bring yours up, you bring mine up. No, I'm just kidding.
But them church girls be out there too, though. That's just,
Them church girls definitely be out there.
Bro.
Yes, they do.
And they love to hear that you go to church because they like, oh, the church girls give it up first. But I'm just saying, I've heard.
Man, if I had $1 for how many times I heard it, like, oh, you a pastor's kid? Yeah, bro. Like, what are you? Yes, I am. Would you like to come to church with me? Like, why are we so excited about this? Like, where are we getting? I'm not understanding.
So, last question. We talked about earlier, just since we're talking about church, you know, there's been a negative connotation associated with singles and single ministry and things of that nature. So what do you guys think the church can do to cultivate a healthy environment for singles?
I think that this is a good start. I think that having different people who have different backgrounds and come from different walks of singleness and relationships and experience and non-experience. Like, I think this is really good because we all get to mingle and come together and really build an understanding as to what we could do to be better for ourselves versus being better, what we could do to be better to be a wife or a husband. Because I think that has been the problem with single ministries in the past, is that it's all about, you gonna be a wife and this is how, and I got the manuscript. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I just want to learn how to be a real life human. And I just want people who are like-minded to do that with. And if I find a husband during that time, bet we in there. If not, then I'm still gonna learn how to be happy with myself and how to walk through life being an adult. So I think that this is definitely a good start, is creating the conversation of what's wrong with the singles ministry, and also just having people who, you can identify with.
Yeah. Anybody else wanna?
Yeah, so I would say, okay, small little anecdote. At my job, sometimes they do these things called pet parades, which we never had successful pets in my household growing up. Yes. So they just post pictures of their dogs and their cats and their rabbits and all this, and I don't participate because I don't have a pet. Right. But nobody wants to hear about how I don't have a pet. Yeah. And so, it just my opinion, I think even in this conversation, we didn't really talk a whole lot about singleness. We talked more about relationships and singleness. And so I think for a singles ministry, if that's going to be successful, maybe the concentration shouldn't just be solely on the fact that you're single, but maybe it's on other things that you got going on. Like, because, I'm single, but I desire to be married. I'd rather talk about what marriage is going to look like and how to be a husband. I'd rather talk about that than the fact that I'm single, because nobody wants to hear about the fact that I don't have any pets. That's not a label. That's not a thing. You know what I mean? And that's just my opinion. Also, just knowing that everybody's singleness looks different. Right. You got some people who are single, dealt with trauma, and never want a relationship again. We don't have a lot in common. How are we going to be in a ministry, in a singles ministry together? You know what I mean? So that's just my take on that, though.
Appreciate that. Anybody else? Anybody else got anything they want to contribute to that question? One of the things that did you? The question was, what can the church do to cultivate a healthy environment? Because it's been singles ministry has been associated with a negative connotation, right? So what can the church do to turn that around and cultivate a healthy environment for singles in their ministry?
I think that the focus has been so much on getting people married and pushing them together in a marriage than learning how to be married, learning about trauma, things that triggers, learn about those things while you're single. Because that's important while you're single, because that way when you get married, you'll know, okay, you already know how to do, okay, this, I'm triggered by that word. I'm triggered by this statement. You'll understand those things if it's taught prior to getting to marriage. And everything ain't about sex. Single people ain't talking about sex all the time. We ain't always trying to sleep with each other like that. I mean, talking about sex, don't have sex all the time. We know that. Let's talk about stuff that's important. Once we get past that, let's talk about things that are important to building a relationship, rebuilding yourself, becoming the best version of yourself. Those things we shouldn't have to go outside of the church to get.
That's good. And to add to that, I think the church should really do a better job with creating dope social environments for single people. Because if, I know some of y'all don't go to the club. Y'all say if y'all don't go to the club and nothing like that. You go to the club? But when you go to the club, you're going to meet single people there. You don't go to the club that's called the singles club. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like, cultivate the environment. And if you cultivate the environment, the people gonna come because of the environment. And I think the church has to be more intentional about the environments they create, because we don't just want to learn about relationships. We want to learn about economics. You know what I'm saying? We want to learn about the Bible. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like we want to learn about a lot of stuff that isn't necessarily involved in like a romantic relationship that can contribute to our life and our purpose and our calling. That's not just how I involve myself with someone on that level. And I think if the church is more intentional about creating those environments, then you're going to get what you're looking for because it's going to organically happen. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, what y'all think about it? Give me a high five, man. You give me a high five. Yo, guys, we appreciate you for tuning into this conversation. Of course, this could be so vast of a conversation. We couldn't even cover it all in this moment, but hopefully somebody was touched. Hopefully somebody was inspired by something. And more importantly, look, if you don't have a relationship with God, you know what I'm saying, and you want to get to know him, or maybe you're far from him in your singleness, right? And you've been distant and you feel like he's not going to accept you back. You feel like, you're rejected. You feel like, man, I've done too much, Josh. Like, I've been out here, bro. I've been in the streets. There's a street named after me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you may feel like that. You feel like, hey, there's no way God will accept me like this. I beg to differ. I absolutely know that he will, and he wants to, because he's a God of new beginnings. He's a God of transformation. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to give your life to Christ, if you want to recommit your life, and also if you don't have a church home, if you're like, man, I wish I had some singles to hang around that was like that, then definitely go to FreeIndeedChurch.org, and connect with us. Connect with us on Facebook and send us a message. Look, we are praying for you. You know what I'm saying? We believe in you. And just because you're single, it doesn't mean you're broken. And even if you're broken, God is a healer and a restorer. So, so we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you. Until next week, we'll see you soon. Live free.
Greetings. God bless you, Freedom Church family. Pastor G here. Pray that you're having an amazing week thus far. I pray that God's peace and protection, promotion, prosperity is on your life in a great way, and that all of your prayers and petitions are before the Lord with positive return. Just want to connect with our church family on an important issue. And yes, it is church finances. Yes, it is your giving. Your giving. Pastor G don't come on the video and don't communicate with the church unless it's about money. Well, I hope that's not your heart. And I hope that you know my heart. And I hope that you know that I don't like to communicate with the congregation about need. I rather talk about mission and vision. So it has been amazing what God has done in the mission and vision of our church. We've resumed regular gatherings, first, third, and fifth Sundays. We've had amazing celebrations, Spirit of God present, love of God present, phenomenal worship, a great fellowship while practicing social distancing. We've done our best to really resume a church as usual, but not as usual. So Freedom Church, new wineskin, house churches, groups. We had a great number of groups that had wonderful fruit. People who don't go to our church getting touched by the groups that met all around the city. That's been phenomenal. We're restoring our youth church. That's been phenomenal. We're planting a church in Villas on the Green Apartments. That's gaining momentum. That's been phenomenal. So many great plans we have in store. We're bringing back Freedom Weekends in December. Just super excited. Listen, the only thing that has been lacking is our giving, our finances. So I want to engage you. I want to ask you. I want to petition you. I want to beseech you. If you have not been giving your tithes, would you please resume giving your tithes and offerings? Our offerings over the last 2 months have been beneath acceptability. We Just to give you an example, I can be transparent. We raised $38 in this past Sunday's offering, September 5th. $38 in the offering basket. Not acceptable, ungodly, diabolical. The church can't sustain that way. And I know it's because many of us are forgetting to give. We're off focus because we hadn't been meeting. We have not been giving. I'm beseeching you to begin your tithe immediately. I'm remembering Haggai when the church was lacking and God was extremely angry and he was threatening a looming curse on God's people's finances because he said it's not acceptable that your houses have wood paneling, but the house of God lies in ruins. In other words, we're making it in our homes. We're doing things in our homes. We're doing what we want to do. We're able to make it and ends are meeting. But the church, the house of God, the needs are not being met. I'm also reminded, of course, of the words of Jesus, where he said that if you seek first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, I'll add all these things unto you. So what we're seeking to try to obtain and pay for and possess in our natural ability with our money, God says, if you'll make the kingdom of God first, if you'll make the kingdom of God first, give God his off the top, give him his 10% and beyond. Whether you believe in the tithe, whether you believe in sacrificial giving or not, give God what belongs to him first. And he says, I will add all these things unto you. So we have much ministry to do. We are back in full swing. We're super excited about what God is doing in Freedom Church, but we need our church family to resume regular giving. I get it. I fell off on my giving, just kind of lost focus. Some of us are on unemployment. Some of us are on public assistance. Some of us are on jobs that are barely paying the bills. But y'all, let's get back to faith. Let's get back to giving. Let's get back to trusting God with our money. After you watch this video, I'm going to ask that you would go to our Cash App, go to our online on our website, or if you give by text, would you please go ahead and release the seed? We have not even been able to pay our rent for the last 2 months. The church has not paid its rent the last 2 months because the giving has been so low. I'm asking you now, we can't go out like that. It's our church. We got to take care of our house. We got to take care of what's ours. If you are a leader at Freedom Church, if you're a member at Freedom Church, let's do what we're supposed to do. Let's take care of our house and let's give. Would you please give now? God bless you. Be circling back with you real soon and letting you know how things are going. Talk to you soon. Live free.